Brady Bush. Alright, has anyone in here ever played softball or baseball? Okay, we have anybody playing it right now? Okay. We all know these two sports are very popular in the United States. They started in the 1800s. Baseball started before softball. They created softball so that women would have a chance to play a sport that is similar to baseball. Baseball is dominantly known in today's world. As you all know, there's a lot of similarities between baseball and softball, but there's also a lot of differences. I'm going to start off with what they have in common. In baseball and softball, they both have the same goal. That's to outscore their opponent by the end of the game. And if there's not a winner at the end, then they go into extra innings till the winner's determined. There will never be a tie. There's always a winner and a loser. Both baseball and softball have the same equipment: catcher's gear, bats, gloves, and balls. Without these, it is very hard to compete or complete a baseball or softball game. In both baseball and softball, there's four main skills: throwing, catching, base running, and hitting. As a player, you want to have a couple of these to help your team succeed. If you do not have these, chances are you're not going to get to play much. So with these, your team has a better chance of winning. In baseball and softball, they both wear metal cleats. The metal helps to keep traction when running on the field. In baseball and softball, you have, when batting, you have 4 balls and 3 strikes. You get 4 balls, you get to go to first base and do not cause your team an out. You get 3 strikes, you go back to the dugout, cause your team an out, and that's considered a strikeout. In both baseball and softball, there's 9 positions. You've got the pitcher, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, left field, center field, and right field. You need all these positions to be successful as a team. And then there's 4 bases. You got home plate, first base, second base, and third base. Both baseball and softball share a lot in common, but they also have a lot of differences. The size of the ball is the biggest difference. A softball is much bigger and lighter, while baseball is smaller and harder. A baseball can travel twice as far as a softball, but the softball is much bigger. Baseball is a sport for men, while softball is a sport for women. But there's also a thing called slow pitch softball that men can play. Baseball is played in 9 innings, while softball is played in 7 innings. Softball games are much faster because of innings, but they go by much smoother because in a baseball game you have to switch pitchers every now and then. On softball, a pitcher can pitch as long as they want. One of the biggest differences between these two is the way the pitchers pitch. In softball, a pitcher throws underhanded, while a baseball player throws overhanded. A softball pitcher can pitch all day, while a baseball pitcher can't pitch as long without hurting. Another big difference is the size of the field. A softball field can range from about 200 to 240 feet from home plate to the outfield fence, while a baseball field can go from about 300 to 450 feet from home plate to outfield fence. It's a big difference in range there. In baseball, the distance from the pitcher's mound to home plate is 60 feet and 6 inches, while in softball it's 43 feet. This is due because how far a softball can travel compared to how far a baseball can travel. And my last difference between the two is how far each base is from each other. Home plate to first, first to second. Baseball, it's 90 feet, while in softball, it's 60 feet. This brings me to a conclusion. Baseball and softball have a lot of similarities, but they are very different, and they are their own sport. Thank you.
Did you get most of your information through personal experience?
Yeah, and rulesofsports.com, americanprofile.com.